Well, hi there everyone and welcome. Today's recipe is another meal in a jar, and this one is for easy beef enchilada casserole. There are so many Tex-Mex restaurants around me that serve beef enchiladas, and I love the flavors of those. I have figured out how to make a homemade enchilada sauce. And then I recently discovered I can make that homemade enchilada sauce with our Thrive Life tomato powder and our chicken bouillon powder, and then just an assortment of normal spices that everybody probably has in their cupboard right now. You are going to need a bag of chips alongside this, a bag of tortilla chips, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. This is a fantastic recipe. I think you're really going to like this one. You'll start with a quart-sized jar. Because I'm going to make a large serving of this will serve probably 5 or 6 people. And you'll start with a cup and a half of the ground beef. I do recommend you pulse it. That's how I pulsed it right there. So see, it's small pieces. It's not a powder. It's just pulsed a couple of times, and that greatly improves the texture of the beef when you put it in the enchiladas. And then alongside the beef, you're going to have half a cup of sour cream powder, half a cup of our cheese sauce, and then you'll start to add some vegetables like the green chilies. They make it flavorful but not really spicy. 2 kinds of onions, and we'll add 1/3 of a cup of our instant black beans. If you don't like black beans, just eliminate that. You don't have to include that. And then we've got half a cup of our pepper jack. You could definitely use the cheddar. You'll need to put a baggie in here because now we're going to start the sauce mixture. This is what will make up our red enchilada sauce. We're going to cook them separately, so they need to stay separated in the jar. These are just normal spices that go into an enchilada sauce. Chili powder, cumin, paprika, and then we've got onion powder, garlic powder, and oregano. These are spices that you probably have already. I don't think it's anything too crazy. I am using the Thrive Life chicken bouillon powder, and it is a little bit more mild in flavor than other chicken bouillons, so you might use maybe half the amount if you're not using our brand. I am using regular all-purpose flour, but you could definitely use the Thrive Life gluten-free flour in this recipe. Both would work great. And then the signature flavor is the tomato powder along with those spices. So our Thrive Life tomato powder is fantastic in this recipe. Once you get all of the enchilada sauce ingredients in the baggie, you can go ahead and seal that up. If you're going to store this for the long term, go ahead and add an oxygen absorber in there. I think you could probably store this for up to a year. As you store this in your pantry, next to it, you can put a bag of tortilla chips. And because we're going to put the tortilla chips in the enchilada casserole, it doesn't matter if they go stale on you. It doesn't matter. So this is what you would store on your pantry shelf along with the cooking instructions. All right, when you're ready to prepare it, you'll get out a large skillet or a pot. Go ahead and turn on your heat. Add a couple of tablespoons of a neutral flavored oil. I like avocado oil because it has a high smoke point and it's very neutral tasting. They say it's pretty good for you as well. Add to that a couple of tablespoons of butter. So the combination of those oils will make your sauce taste fantastic. So you'll go ahead and get those heating and the butter melting, and then you can open up your jar and remove that baggie. What we're going to do is cook the red enchilada sauce first, and this is how you do it. Empty the contents of the baggie into the oil and the butter, and immediately start whisking. What we're doing is we're toasting that flour, and we're toasting those spices. A lot of those spices are fat soluble, meaning when they come in contact with fat and heat, they will come alive and wake up, and they will have amazing flavor. After you have toasted that flour and toasted those seasonings, you're going to start adding water, and you'll add it about a cup at a time. You need to have 3 cups of water waiting, and you'll add it about a cup at a time. I turned down my heat there just a little bit, and as you whisk, this will start to come together and look like the base for a gravy or something like that. Once the first cup of water has been incorporated into your spices, then add a second cup of water and continue to whisk. And this is just how you do it. Once it's incorporated fully, then you'll go ahead and add your final cup of water. That's the third cup of water. And after some whisking, you'll see that this is enchilada sauce. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's quite straightforward and simple. That is a basic red enchilada sauce. You can use that for any type of enchiladas that you are going to make at home. Once that comes back to a boil, go ahead and add your meat mixture to that. And because we've got beans in there and some sauce mixes, they do require a bit more liquid. So I went ahead and I added 1 more cup of water to this. Give it a stir. Those sauce mixes, especially in there, they're not going to want to incorporate into the mixture without a little bit of coaxing. So just be patient with it. Stir it well, and eventually, once it starts to heat up, it will incorporate just fine. And then go ahead and bring it to a boil. And be sure to stir from the bottom. Remember, you have cheese in there that is melting. You just need to make sure that you stir from the bottom. After it comes to a boil, you can go ahead and cover it. And you'll want to give this about 20 minutes of simmer time. I had my heat on a medium-low. Every once in a while, I just came along, lifted that lid, and gave it a good stir. You want your ingredients to swim and not to sink. So yeah, every once in a while, just come in here and give it a stir. Make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom of your skillet. Now's a great time to taste test and see how you're doing with your seasonings and adjust if necessary. But definitely taste the black beans and make sure they're tender. If they're not, you can add a bit more water and cook it a little bit longer. If everything's good, go ahead and add about a medium-sized bag of chips. And I went ahead and crushed those chips with my spoon. You can crush them in the bag if you want to, but I wasn't going to use the entire bag of chips, so I just crushed them in the skillet. But you want to coat each of those chips with the enchilada sauce mixture. You're just going to want to make sure that everybody is coated, and then you're just going to let it sit on low heat for about 5 minutes. And in that time, during that time, your chips will have absorbed that sauce and they will be tender. Literally, they will mimic a corn tortilla. That's basically what they are. Chips are corn tortillas that have been fried. So they mimic a corn tortilla in a regular enchilada really well. If you want to gild the lily, go ahead and add some extra grated cheese on the top and allow that to melt. If you were eating regular beef enchiladas, that's what they do. They put cheese on the top of them. Yeah, then it's ready to serve up. This is a fantastic casserole. It's really the same thing as a beef enchilada. It's just not rolled. It's in the form of a casserole instead, but you're going to get those same classic flavors. If you like a beef enchilada from a Tex-Mex restaurant, you will love this recipe. Yeah, you know I ate that, don't you? I enjoyed that bite so much. We served it alongside a salad and then with some sour cream and a little salsa on the side. The beef enchilada casserole is not spicy with heat, but it is full of spice. It's full of flavor. It is fantastic. I'm really excited to share this recipe with you today. If you enjoy Tex-Mex beef enchiladas, I think you're going to love this one. Okay, guys. Y'all, thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it when you interact with me with a comment or a like or a subscribe. I appreciate that so much. And also, if you're interested, click on my shopping link and just see if Thrive Life has any foods that you might need in your pantry. Until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.